Let's start this Holiday 6 off with one of the best games of the day right here on Fox in the early window. The Minnesota Vikings edged the Arizona Cardinals 23-22 to preserve their reputation as at least arguably the most stressful team in the NFL. We talk so much about the Kansas City Chiefs and the way it always comes down to the wire for them. It's not much different up in Minneapolis. This is a team that's had 8 of its last 9 come down to the final 2 minutes of action. 7 of the last 9 decided by one possession, but they keep finding ways to get it done, as they did against the Cardinals. The Vikings up to 10-2 after the win. They are, by record anyway, the best wild card in the NFL, just continuing to keep pace with the Lions. It's a hard pace to keep up with the Lions, with one of the best records in the NFL, and the Vikings managing to stay right there at their heels. It's really impressive considering what a challenge it is every week. And this might have been the toughest one of all. Minnesota couldn't find the end zone in its first 6 possessions. They were down as bad as 19-6 in the third quarter of this game before they finally roared to life. They scored touchdowns on 2 of their final 3, and the big one at the end. Inside the final 2 minutes, they drive 70 yards. The go-ahead touchdown comes with just a minute 13 on the clock. Very poetically, it's Aaron Jones, had fumble issues again early on Sunday, lost the ball twice in the early going in the game. He catches the game-winning touchdown from Sam Darnold, and it's a sequence, I'll be honest, you could see coming. Not to second-guess Jonathan Gannon too much, but this felt preordained to me when the Arizona Cardinals opted for a field goal from the Minnesota 4-yard line. They'd had the lead for the vast majority of the second half. It's 19-16 with not a lot of time to play. The field goal makes it 22-16. I get it. You give yourself the whole field to defend. You can't lose or tie the game on a field goal. But on the 4-yard line with a mobile quarterback like Kyler Murray, had a chance to put this game away and take a 2-possession lead with not a lot of time on the clock. Field goal gives the Vikings purpose. You know that you need a touchdown to tie or win when you're trailing by 6, and wouldn't you know it, they play aggressive. They go for it on 4th down with the game on the line. They get it. They go and score the touchdown to take the lead. It's an interesting conversation, and that's why I started with it when I caught up with Joe Davis and Greg Olsen after the game. Well, guys, I don't think it's fair to say that it's the reason the Cardinals lost this game, but it's another example of this very interesting trend. Greg, you laid it out so perfectly in the game. They opt to kick a field goal from the 4-yard line. It winds up biting them in the end. I mean, is this gaining in momentum where we get to a point where teams rethink the way they want to play these situations?
You know that it's going to be a question that Jonathan Gannon will get post-game.
Listen, the conventional wisdom is, yes, it makes sense in a 2-minute, granted there was more than 2 minutes, but the point being, in an end-of-game scenario, it's better to be up 6 and make you score a touchdown to beat me versus a field goal to tie me or beat me. But remember, the thing is, a touchdown beats you in both scenarios, up 3 or 6. But the fact that you're up 3 and a team has that, like, okay, let's just get in field goal range first. If we can score, great. But at the end of the day, I can at least tie you. If I'm Arizona, my chances of losing in regulation go up the second I'm up 6. You score a touchdown there on 4th and goal from inside the 5, you're up 10. The game's over. It's just the way it goes.
Yeah. It's such an interesting conversation. Like I said, I'm interested to see if teams start to adapt to it a little bit more. The other big takeaway from this game is just, look, I'm sure the Vikings would prefer for it to not always be this stressful. But, man, this is just a team that does not blink. Like, how valuable is this type of confidence when you can just keep pulling games like this out of the fire?
I know you said the equation to winning close games, but another element to it is like the soft skills to it, the belief that they seem to have. They get in these tight games and they're like, yeah, we're fine, we're going to win.
Yeah, there's 100% a mental confidence component to this. Like, hey, we've been here before. This is no big deal.
Yeah.
We expect to win. We're not hoping. Hope is not a strategy, right? It's we expect to win, and I certainly think that's the belief on the entire sideline for the Minnesota Vikings. And listen, they're 7-0 this year. 2 years ago, they were 11-0. Big reason why they hosted a playoff game, obviously lost to the Giants. But that's been a big thing around here in the 3 years that Kevin O'Connell's been in charge, and it obviously continues to work.
Yeah.
Another very fun fourth quarter for you two. Let's keep the trend going, guys. I appreciate it.
Into that. Thanks, Dave.
Thanks, Dave.
I called the Vikings a stressful team at the top, and if you have a short memory, I think it's worth it to just go back because you see 10-2. We know they're a good team, but man, it has been by the skin of their teeth a lot in the back half of the season. We already mentioned it. Sunday, Arizona, you're down 19-6 in the second half. This looks like an L for the vast majority of the fourth quarter. They buckle down. They get a big stop in their own red zone. They take it from there, scoring with 73 seconds on the clock. The week before that, looks like it's going to be a routine win. They lose a 24-10 second half lead to Chicago. It goes all the way to overtime before Sam Darnold pulls that one out of the fire. I'll give them the credit of pointing out they beat Tennessee in relatively stress-free fashion. A week before that, though, 3-turnover game, 2 of those turnovers in Jacksonville's end zone. They hold on with a chance of losing at the buzzer to Mac Jones to win 12-7. And even in week 9, they play with their food. They trade field goals and turnovers with Indianapolis before finally putting the Colts away at the 2-minute warning in a 21-13 win. That's how we've gotten to these 5 straight wins since that losing streak to the Vikings and the Rams. All of that said, I'm A-okay with this Vikings team. If you think back to 2022, they went 13-4. They had to deal with fraud allegations that entire season. But the difference is they were winning every game by the skin of their teeth. And when they were losing, they were getting destroyed. All 4 of Minnesota's regular season losses in 2022 were by 2 or more possessions. Some of those as bad as 37 points. Green Bay beat them 41-17 that year. This Vikings team might leave it until the end, but they're not getting beaten like that. They took the Lions to the wire. The Rams game that they lost on a short week was within reach up until the final 2 minutes. This team is a tough out. And like I talked about with Joe and Greg, I think all of that stress, all of that testing your resolve, I have to believe it pays off in the end. I think this team is going to be a tough out, even if they do have to go on the road in the postseason.